unofficial Bounty Bash website now we have a hero tier list. There's the small one New World hero tier list. And besides there's overall hero tier list. But if you'll pay attention guys, if you'll count then you'll see there's not all the heroes. So I decided to make my own tier list, but not because there's not all the heroes. About some heroes like Prince I don't agree. Seriously? D? Nothing personal, but who was making this list? Did you see how good these shields can be? So guys, to make a good tier list I decided to ask people around because all of us have different stats, different ships. Of course I also ranked them based on my experience. And into account I took their stats, their skills, their own effects. For example, Core Bolt will increase your crit hit chance even if you don't use him. So even if you don't use him, to a certain point it's a good idea to level up him. Okay guys, before I rank the heroes, would be amazing if you would support me by using my code in game. That is super easy to do and will take you only a few seconds. All what you need to do is to go to the shop, scroll down and to enter this code. Let's start with the S heroes that in almost all cases will be helpful. Mekamak is definitely one of them because it gets your shield equal to 30% of your ship's maximum health. And as you know, surviving is one of the most important parts in this game. Besides, you'll get a good increase in attack when your health is full. Talking about health, it has the highest health in the game. Positive is definitely S hero, she goes more as offensive. But what makes her top is not the damage she deals because it's not the highest. It is her skill that increases attack up to 6 times as health gets low. Plus she deals a good damage and kills heroes crit damage. Airbeacon will slow down your enemies, it definitely will help you a lot and will give you a great advantage. But besides it, it's also good as passive because it's one of two heroes that give elemental damage. The next hero has really good skill that can greatly increase your attack, but it's A hero, not S, because it takes time to get a good increase in attack, as it steals attack per hit and the cooldown time is not like a second. So to use him I would say situationally, he's good for lone battles. Bunny you'll want to use because she deals a great damage especially against fire enemies. But what makes her so good is not only the damage she deals. Besides, she'll increase the skill damage, and as passive effect she gives hero crit rate. Almost as good as Mekamak is Pulkin, she also will grant you a shield, but her other stats are not so good as Mekamak has. I would say she's a light version of Mekamak, that's why she's A. Frosty, mostly because of the freezing effect, is definitely A. It's also good against shell enemies as it reduces their attack and deals higher damage to them. In many cases he will be a good choice. The same story is with Loki, he's a little bit worse but he can freeze enemies too. So because of the freezing, as to me he's A. The next hero has a unique ability that will help you to block some damage. Plus if you'll use her then enemies will be receiving more damage because of her effect. And she greatly can increase your health if you'll use more sharks. About Seabeard, many of you will disagree because it's not like he deals a good damage or has a useful skill, but his own effect, and not only own effect, gives gold, and thanks to gold you can increase your attack, health, crit chance, whatever you want. That's why he's so good and you definitely will want to level up him. Prince can give you a good defense thanks to the shields he spawns. Yeah, they're not perfect, but against many enemies, they will help you to survive. The next hero I decided to put as A because of her crazy damage to ships. So if your enemies do not have a ship, then she's bad. Beastie is probably the best uncommon here and you will want to use her as offensive. She deals a crazy damage especially to monsters, plus she increases the boss damage. The next hero also deals a great damage but it is more against mechanical enemies. If you're not going to use him then you'll want to level up him because of increasing crit rate. Bricolo you'll want to use because he restores ship's health, plus he increases health and his own health is pretty high. The next heroes are B, they also good but I would say they're useful in less cases. For example, Kaboom is great against ice enemies, that between heroes we have only 2. If to talk about ice bosses, you will not see them often. And the same about fire enemies, against which it deals high damage and reduces their attack. You just will not see them often. Iron Jaw maybe deserves to be A, and if human says I would say so. It deals a great damage buff sharks damage, plus it deals high damage to fire enemies and increases crit damage thanks to own effect. The reason why I decided to put him as B because in the late game most likely you will not use him, because we have better offensive heroes and usually you will need defensive, unless you will want to use a shark family. The next hero is good only against mechanical enemies, so you will not use him often. He is more designed against bosses and for example in arena he is not good. The next hero you definitely will want to level up because of own effect, super crit rate. And she's great for lone battles, but the truth is that usually you will not have lone battles. Naira, basically designed against flying enemies, I would say flying bosses, and that's all. The next hero is very mid and most likely you will not use it, but she has a great own effect resistance, that's why B. About this hero menu you can say it's A, and maybe you're right because it reduces enemies' attack, gives a super crit rate, plus as a nice bonus it deals high damage to ice enemies. The reason why I decided to put it as B because the chance to reduce attack is 50% and only for 4 seconds. So instead of reducing their attack, I'd better have them frozen. About the next hero not much to say, basically it is designed against tentacle enemies, tentacle bosses. Hollow Jack also reduces attack but the chance compared to Mantakus is way lower, only 20%. I would put it as C if not its own effect, super crit damage. Vespa is great against plant enemies, she reduces their attack and deals high damage to them, but plant enemies you will not see often. Anyway, she's definitely B because of her own effect. She's the second hero that will give you elemental damage. The next hero is more for late game players because you need to have high crit hit chance. Besides it, you should be able to apply negative effects to deal high damage. So he can be good, but you need to have a specific build and high crit rate. The next hero is B because he can stun enemies, not A because the chance is low, only 30%. About Korbeck, I hesitated to put him as B or as C. From one side there's nothing special about him, but because of high fire damage I decided to put him as B. Maybe you'll want to use him in your team. Next heroes are C, most likely you will not use them but there's a few cases that you may want to. For example, Courgette is good against shield enemies, and that's it. Skullcap has healing, but for most people it's not effective. Smashjaw may be B because its own effect increases hero crit rate. Also if you'll use him it increases skill damage, but most likely you will not use him unless you build a shark team. Eventually I decided to rank him as C. Birdie, most likely you will not use because we have better heroes against flying enemies, but in a few cases like Guild Conquest, you may want to. The only reason why it's C is because its own effect increases crit rate, and maybe you'll want to use him in your shark team. Talking about sharks, the next one deals a great damage, however it's uncommon. In early game you definitely will want to use him, but in late game I doubt. Maybe it's B, but because it's not good in late game, I decided to rank it as C. Other heroes are D, they are not any good, you will not want to use them. Because they are not doing good damage, they don't have any useful skill, and even their own effects are not good. Okay guys, that's all about heroes. In comments let me know if you agree or disagree. Explain why, and don't forget to support me by using my code in game, because it helps me to make my content for you.